Start recording. Okay, so today, uh, is my voice okay? I'll just confirm that. Cool. So today we'll
Yeah,
be okay. Good, good, good. Um, just a moment. Yeah. So we'll be learning concept art, and specifically we'll be talking about sketching today. But let me go over what is concept art right now. It's basically visualization of stories. As a concept artist, what you do is you visualize text. So let's say somebody gives you the script of like a novel, let's say Harry Potter, and you read what is written and you convert that into visuals. Like, okay, there's like this thing, there's a there's another big tower and like a road. So what you basically do is convert text into visual. And what we will basically do in this course is learn all the tools that will help us convert text into visuals. Learn the tools to visualize text. So the tools that are present to do that is sketching, photo bashing, 3D modeling, and merging all these tools. Just a second. Yeah, so 3D modeling and sketching, photo bashing, painting. Now we have AI as well, and yeah, any other like 2D sketching, which is also sketching, uh, traditional sketching. So these are the tools that we have at our disposal. In this class, we'll be specifically focusing more on sketching and 3D modeling. We'll be learning how to use this to create a good drawing, which looks amazing, and it can fetch us jobs. It can help us become better artists and better visualizers. Yeah. So let's talk about this one thing called the power of good of a good sketch. Before that, let's see what is the process of making visuals, or what is essentially the idea of the pipeline in a production, and where does a concept artist fit in. So first, the director or the story writer makes a script. They write a good story. Then they go ahead and make a script for it. Then they find a director. Director will look at the script. He'll have a vision. The director has a vision. Then he goes to the art director. It works a bit different, but this is what I generally sort of know of. Then the art director has the artistic vision of the visual specifically. Director will have the vision of music, the whole scenario. Now the art director goes to concept artists, or he himself is also a concept artist. Again, this concept artist will read the script and descriptions, and he will make the thing. Then the concept art will these drawings, a bunch of drawings, will go to the production team. Production team. In the case of a video game, this goes to the 3D artists who will make 3D assets based on the concept art, who will convert the concept art into 3D assets. Or in the case of films, it will go to the production team and they will make physical sets out of the thing. So they'll make like a whole set, they'll design something. So whatever you draw is converted into physical sets or 3D digital assets and sets. And whatever you create is where the scenarios, the things will take place in the story. So let's say you made this cafe now, two people will interact here. So you are basically the architect of a world. You're basically the architect of a world. So how in real life, the architects make the client comes to the architect with a vision. The architect makes a design. Some He'll make some drawings. The contractor will look at the drawings. He'll read it, and then he'll go on the site to make the building, and the building is fully made, and people appreciate it, and they live in it for years and years. And similarly with a story, if you make a good story, it lives with people for years and years. Like good stories like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Star Wars. These are stories that we live in. These are stories, all the Marvel universe. So a good story, it lives with you for years. And we are the creator of the world in which these stories will take place. So that's our positioning as a concept artist. Now let's talk about um, sketch, the power of sketching, or why would we still sketch in the world of AI when we type and you know it makes visuals? Why should we go and put in the efforts to sit for hours to sketch? Um, Now let's see how still film productions, they use sketching as a medium. So we look at some concept art of there's one artist called Sheng Lam who worked on this movie called The Creator. The Creator. It's a movie, 2023 movie, sci-fi. It's very nice. You guys should check it out definitely. Now, even in a movie which has like such advanced looking thing, the foundation of it is still it has like realistic looking robots and vehicles, but the foundation of it is still line art. So if we look at this design, now it looks so complex and it looks so real, but in reality it was this is the workflow the guy used. First he made a line art. So we might think, oh, a sketch looks so boring, I want to paint. But in reality, this is a sketch like this goes a long way, and that your art will be converted into like real thing that people will connect with, and it will be used in films. So this is the guy Sheng Lam who worked on vehicles for this movie, the creator. He made so this is how he made the vehicle. See, it's such a simple looking sketch. So we must realize that our sketches have the power to make or break a film production. Or so even in the world of AI, they still make these sketches, and sketching is the foundation of design thinking, I believe. Like that's the ABCs, and it is the foundation on which the world of design stands upon. So to be good designers, we must be good at sketching, and without a good sketch, we can't make these futuristic looking things, or anything, basically anything that is beautiful has to be sketched first by a concept artist, and then it is sort of taken forward. So similar to this, now what this guy has done is he made a 3D model and he's sketching on top of it. But so that's where we'll come to learn Blender. My uh, hello. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello. Can you guys hear me now? I got lost for a second. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. So yeah, basically what we'll do is first learn how to sketch.
Are
Then
you speaking? We are
yeah.
not able to hear.
Okay. Now how about now?
Yeah.
All right. So in this course, again, I think I'm repeating it for the thousandth time, but first we learn to sketch, then we learn to 3D, then we learn to sketch plus 3D. Sounds, I hope this sounds simple enough. So this is our end goal is to make drawings using this 3D plus 2D. So let's talk about the concepts of sketching today. Um, I had made this thing the other day. I put it on Instagram as well. Yep, this is what makes a good line art. I'll just go over it. Obviously the proportions have to be good, and to do that you just look at a sketch and you draw multiple variations of it. So when I'm doing it, uh, first I'll make like a first pass. So I'll go about sketching the thing. Let's say I'm sketching this turtle. So I'll try to do a quick speed paint. I'm going very fast. I'm not worrying about exact line and exact positioning of objects. I'm just trying to get a first. I'm not being too careful, you see. I have to be very fast and very intuitive with it. And yeah, so this is how much time I should take to make a first pass. Then I realize, okay, let's see where I've been wrong. So how you do that is you look at the sketch. I mean, look at the reference. And what we have to try to do is, one second. We should aim to get these negative spaces right. So let's say you draw a bounding box um, uh, around this guy. My aim is to basically plot this perfectly. I should get these negative spaces right. So try to think of it in negative spaces as well. Of So I should try to get these right. You need not make it like exact copy of it, but the suggestion should be there and it should look accurate. So yeah, draw a bounding box around your subject and try to make an accurate sketch of it then. So try to get this right. Okay, so yeah, I got my first pass done in like 5 seconds or so, or like 1 minute. Then I go over it with a second layer. I take a new layer, turn the opacity on slightly, and then I go about sketching it again. This time I'll be slightly more careful, but it's not necessary to be careful. So if you practice this a lot, you'll not need to be careful at all because it comes to you like an intuition. So now while I'm sketching, I'm also observing the contours of it. So I'm not trying to make an artistic sketch. I'm trying to understand the contour of it. So if you look at the making of this is like a it's like a shape which goes like this kind of a shape with contours. So you try to observe the contour lines of it. So when you're sketching, don't try of thinking the most artistically sound sketch. Just think of if you're able to get and analyze the design all right. So, so you try to observe it in terms of contours. and placement. So let's move ahead. So I'm not being too careful, slightly intuitive, slightly scribbly as well. Now again here I'm trying to observe the contour of it. So this is almost like a cuboidal placement of the head, like a tapering prism of sorts. So try to think of the thing. So this is like a cylinder which has been twisted. So when you're sketching, have that approach that, okay, I have to break these down into simple 3D objects. So the mindset that I have in my mind when I'm sketching an object is, okay, this is how it looks. Then it's a cylinder, like a pipe. Then this is some organic form which is falling to the other side like this. It is falling this way. And again, another cylinder, a ball and socket joint, another cylinder, and a cube. So in my mind, this is the thought I have when I'm, sketching this. Uh, so, so think of it like this, and don't worry about, oh, if is my sketch looking good. If you have this mindset right, your sketch will look sound automatically. So try to analyze the block out. Then coming back to my sketch. So then I try to go here, get the contour right, and trying to get this cylinder right. Taking care of where the thing folds. So instead of just drawing it like this, I'll go in, take the time and make this crease. Because this crease shows the nature of the skin. So our intent with the sketch is to communicate the nature of the object, how the object behaves. So yeah. So have a more observational eye rather than an artistic eye. I mean, think of it like that. But our aim is not to make a aesthetically pleasing sketch. Our aim is to communicate the property of the object. That okay, this folds like skin. I should be able to communicate that. Now, if it does look beautiful or not is the least of our concern. So yeah, so do multiple layers of it. So in this, I got this part down. Now I'll decrease the opacity. Now I can go with the black color. Now the most in this particular image, what I put down is that we use line weight to emphasize form. So form overlap. So if let's say this is a square and this is a triangle. Now how do I show that okay this is because of this overlap it is certain that in the sequence first we have the cube and then the pyramid or this triangular looking maybe it's a cone. But to emphasize that even further, to show that these forms are overlapping, we give one of them a thicker line and the other. So now it's much more convenient. From even a distance, I can tell, okay, there's an overlap. So this is the concept we have to use. So this thing comes up before in the sequence. So to show that these forms are overlapping, draw a thicker line. This will have a slightly thinner line. And I'd say spend good 1 hour, 2 hours doing one sketch because you're in the learning phase. So think of how you'll come into like hurdles like, okay, how do I show this scaling texture? Do I show it like this? Do I show it like this? This is something you have to figure out. This is your, in some sense, where you get scope for artistic expression. So, yeah, I wouldn't do the whole sketch, but you go over it with multiple rounds. So, I'd like to show you one of my files as well. Uh, so, this is one of my files when I was doing this assignment. In the meantime, let's look at what kind of sketches you can make. So, see, now here, wherever there is a form overlap, the line gets thicker. Okay, let's see. So for each drawing that I made, see, this is the kind of drawers I went through. This won't get shown to people, but it's very important for me. So I don't directly make these sketches. It takes a while. I have to figure out the form, essentially do a study of the thing. So, uh, so I do a contour study. So essentially that is what we have to do. Even in this, there's like hidden layers that I deleted, which nobody will ever get to see. But that study of the object is more important than the final sketch. I should understand the form of it. So try to have that approach. I'll just go over this thing again. So I highlight the overlaps, and when we do the detail, we go over it with focal point. So in this particular sketch, let's say this is my focal point, this leg. So what happens is the detail will be the most concentrated at the focal point. So it will be, the density will be this much. Then it will decrease. Then it will decrease even further. So we radiate out the details. This note should be able to explain that as well if you ever forget it. But most amount of detail will be here. Then as we move away from the focal point, the detail decreases. Let's try to do that here. So um, let's say this is my object. This is my leg that I'm drawing. I'm trying to show that there's like a wrinkling happening. So I'm taking the effort, taking the time in to think of the. So I'm concerned about my assignment. I take it seriously. So I should reflect that in my sketch. Basically, you're trying to show that, okay, you care about this drawing. You just didn't half-ass it. So I'm trying to, okay, make this shape, however. Now, even here, so this has a scaling texture, like some round texture. That is also being reflected in the edges. So the edge wouldn't be perfectly straight. Take your time, add a bit of texture to the edge as well. Maybe delete some of it, bring it back and delete it. And then again, there's a certain overlap. So I have my outer silhouette on. Then I try to establish a contour line. It is essentially taking a turn like this. So how do I show that with my line art? Uh, like this. So you try to communicate the contour. The more time you spend on it, the better it looks. So let's say this is the focal point of my, usually the focal points of the detail is where there's a material change, where the object is taking a, where there are wrinkles, where there's a bend in the object. And in case of animals and creatures, usually the eyes or the head, that is where you add the detail and then decrease it as you go away. So have it more here, then decrease it, and spend more time doing it. So that's what I'll emphasize. Mm, Then draw the texture. So let's say this is my point of maximum detail. So try to show in the texture like this. Here I'm sort of assuming the texture because I can't see it too clearly. But my aim is that as I move away, I decrease the texture. And if I'm showing the texture here, I should also show it that it is also affecting the form. So it's not just a line like a sticker painted on top. Show the form and move away. So we don't want to go and so this is how I think it should be done. So I'm not going in and filling the whole page like okay let's so we have to fill texture. Let's do it all the way. And I'm not filling it all the way. Otherwise it looks ugly. And it takes so much time, so much more time as well. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. Basically don't go, yeah, and fill the whole thing with texture. It'll look very displeasing to the eye. So yeah, go. So you take your time, refer to the notes, and I'll put them in the Discord chat as well. And yeah, make good sketches with it. There's not much to be said about sketching, to be honest. Most of it is to be done. So I'm counting on you guys to do the assignments, and that's when you do the sketches, you'll face certain challenges like, okay, now how do I show this texture? So what I'll do is I'll decrease the opacity, or either take a slightly less. What I'll do is I'll decrease the opacity. Now I'll go and do this texture with a lighter brush. But I'm not painting the shadows, remember. I'm only capturing the surface detail. And even there, I'm trying to. So, what this does, it also helps me establish contour. And even in this, you can think about the focal point concept. Now, I won't go and draw each and every speckle, every dot that this turtle has. I'll just give a suggestion that, okay, it is a textured animal and not a plain, boring looking animal. So, yeah, this is what I'm thinking when I do it. So yeah, think of the texture and try to think of it in shapes as well. That okay, this is one big shape. Previously I had done this three. Now this repetition looks boring. But if I have one dot like this and the other is grouped together, this looks a bit more interesting. And this is naturally there. So if you just observe the image very concerningly, then you'll be able to find it. So So no shadows again, remember? We won't do any. So see, although I did it very hastily, but there's still certain read to it and there's an appeal to just the leg. So if you just follow these steps, I'll just brief you with the steps once again. Uh, make a rough, make a rough sketch, go over, define. make another rough sketch. So make two rough sketches. Then define the outline, fill in the details, think details. But you should have the concepts of focal point, line weights, and texture in mind. Yeah, so after you've done the detailing and the lines, you fill in the line weight and then you put in the texture with a lighter value. And you have a solid looking sketch. So, and you get 100 points in life. So yeah, I think this is all there is said to be said. All there is to be said. I'll show you some examples of how line art was used in God of War. You see, this is all line, and he's also thinking of line weight. Where there's a form overlap, the lines get thicker. So, so yeah, you should keep that in mind. This is also Shenglam's work. He's using first he made a 3D base, and then he started doing line art on top of it. So this week I just want you to get better at line art. I'll send you more examples of good looking line art. Again, form change. There's like this. There's line thickness variation. He didn't do the details of the roof everywhere. See, he's concentrated it to one area, then it's sort of radiating out. It's coming and going. So you have to keep that in mind. Uh, so I think yeah. So this week you should become practice line art. This is the only week where there's only 2D sketching. Then we'll get into 3D, and that's when I think things will get even more exciting for you. But keep the things in mind. Line weight, details should radiate out. Yeah, keep that in mind, and I hope you guys make a good sketch so that I can review it in the next class. I'll also show you how essentially 3D helps a lot. How 3D will help you guys. So so this course is a lot of doing rather than me giving lectures. It is more focused on you guys uh, doing the assignments, and most valuable that you'll get out of it is through feedbacks. So let's say I'll come to Blender in the future, but let's say I have this thing, and yeah, I take a screenshot of it. So once we learn Blender, then we can come to it, increase the size. So once you know how to model things very well, so now I can draw on top of it. I have a base. What 3D helps me do is I don't need to sit and wait. Okay, plot a perspective point, uh, make this perspective point, then join it, then make this, join it, then do this, do this. Okay, now I have a point. Now I need to add one more cube. Okay. See, this is too much time. And we don't have that kind of time when we are working for productions or even in general. It would just be faster. So that's why I got the cube from 3D. Now I have a base. I can start sketching on it. Okay, maybe there's like maybe these edges are chiseled. So, and then there's like some thing on it, some detail. So this is how 3D helps you. See, now I have a base to sketch on top of. and then I can do some editing to it. Okay. Uh, Add some windows here, maybe something like this. Add some detail. Maybe this is like a container, so there's like a container here. So you see, your thinking becomes much faster because you're thinking more about the storytelling through design rather than you're not worried about having the right perspective because that's already sorted for you with 3D. So that is why I follow the 3D 2D workflow, and that is what this course will mainly help you with. So yeah, so see now I have the sketch ready. Although this doesn't have too much value or storytelling, but the perspective is sound because we use 3D and we can work on this. Like I can add more details, like think about okay, maybe this is a passenger bus and which also doubles up as a container carrier. So I'll do some details here, and add some ladders, something. Maybe this has more stuff here. So I believe this is where the 3D and 2D workflow will help you. And the line art exercise that we'll do today, I mean this week, will help you understand the line weights, how to use the line weights, and how to make something look pretty and functional as well. So yeah, I think this is all I'd like to say. I'll just tell you what's the assignment. I'll post it in the chat as well, homework chat. So homework is do a page of sketch, do an A3 sheet with 4 to 5 sketches. I'll send you the images in the chat so that you don't have to worry about which images. I'll send you like maybe 10 images which you can pick from, or you can also pick your own images. So we'll do like maybe 6 to 5 images, and I'll give you feedback on it. And yeah, that's how we'll go ahead. Cool. Um, I'll also put in inspiration in the chat, like inspiring line art you can look at, and so that it helps you, it like guides you. So how to go ahead. So I'll put it in chat, and we'll meet again next Saturday, 6:30 p.m. and discuss these sketches. Cool. If you guys have any questions, now is the time to ask them.
Yeah, no.
No questions? Okay. Anything, Atharva?
So how you decide the level of detailing you will give? So
Huh.
like that turtle thing,
Yeah, yeah.
the skin पे there was a texture.
Yeah.
So you started to draw some part of that texture. So
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
you decide that this is the maximum level which we should apply, or this is the minimum level which should,
So,
because
yeah.
if you
Let me,
see in the hexagon things,
uh,
so I
yeah.
agree with less amount of that with small thickness wala brush also.
Yeah,
If we draw that, but it will make that thing more and more chaotic.
I understand. So, okay,
So yeah,
let me let me try to go over it of how I would tackle this kind of a sketching problem. So, what I have to do is I have to communicate that okay, there's a hexagonal pattern. Now, let's see. So first, to be more confident, I'll just take a I'll draw on top with a first I'll plan my how I'll go about it. So I take my rough layer, a different color maybe. So I'll just see how I'll plot it. So I made a rough sketch. Okay. And now here is there's like a contour change happening. So half of it is falling here. Cool. So I have a base to work on now. So let me just try to do it. This indeed is a tricky problem, I believe. But with enough, what I'll try to do is I'll try to show the intersection where the thing is happening. First, I should show that okay, there are multiple hexagons that are like intersecting with each other, interacting. Then I can maybe take a lighter brush and go over it like this. Okay. Mm, yeah, and then so see what I'll suggest is you should do it very well in one place so that it is implied that okay everywhere else the same thing is happening. So just take your time and do it perfectly in one place. So I'll just erase this. Mm, yeah, I'll do it perfectly somewhere, and then everywhere else I can just suggest it that okay there's like a detail that goes like this. I don't need to draw the whole line. That's what it will make it look chaotic. Just give a suggestion.
Hmm.
Okay, that okay this is happening, and obviously spend time with it and do multiple variations if you feel like, and figure it out for yourself. And we can discuss it next week because I'll also try to do this because it seems like a challenging enough problem even for me. So yeah, let's meet next week and discuss this.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is how it looks so far. See, there's already some appeal to it, although it's not complete. But we're starting to generate appeal by just following these simple steps of rough sketch, outline, details, texture. Yeah. So in these sketches, there's not even I haven't even put shadows or any value detail. But there's already enough appeal. There's enough things to look at, and that's where even if we don't put shadow or painting, this is interesting enough because line art is inherently appealing, I guess. So yeah, that's all. Anything from your end, Karnavi? Cool, I'll take that.
I think so. It seems easy, but let's see when we sketch,
Yeah,
everything will come in mind. That's why need to try it out.
for sure. Yeah, spend enough time on it, and again, if you just make a bunch of rough sketches under it and figure out the details, it will be easy step by step. Yeah. So I'll post in the assignment to remind you guys, and I'll just let you know where I'll post it. So I'll put it here, homework week 1, and I'll put the resources and maybe here. So yeah, cool. I'll see you guys. Bye.